You're listening to the Best Morning Routine Ever podcast, the show that proves no one stumbles upon success ever. With your host, Lou Need. Every Mondays and Thursdays, we deliver cold hard evidence behind the power of a robust morning routine. Get ready to be transformed by the renewal of your mind.
Hello, morning enthusiasts. Welcome to the Best Morning Routine Ever podcast. I am your host, Dr. Lou Need, and today I have the honor of introducing a very, very special guest to the show, Tina White. Tina is almost like a serial entrepreneur, but she changes it up, which is quite fascinating. She is a dynamic entrepreneur, seasoned accountant, and transformative business coach now. But before that, she has a remarkable journey from a CPA to running her own air conditioning business and even a hiring service at some point. Tina seamlessly blends the financial mastery and real-world experience. It's really a privilege, especially given this season right now, to have her on the board. So with no further ado, Tina, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Of course, it's a pleasure. Give us a little insight of your journey. I know in 2010 you started your first business, but before then you were an accountant.
Yes. So during my previous career, I would do all of the traditional accounting services from taxes, audit, bookkeeping, payroll. It was just, I wore a lot of different hats. And in 2010, I decided to start my own company where I offered CFO type of services. But the crazy thing is in 2015, I actually bought an air conditioning company. And so that was, it's really interesting when you own a company and you know how to provide the service, which was true with the accounting. But when you actually own an air conditioning company, and I do not know how to repair an air conditioner, it was a different level of entrepreneurship where I had to truly trust everyone on my team so that we could work together and really make our customers happy and comfortable in their home.
Yeah. And so you went from a service business to it was still service, right? So you weren't selling air conditioner, it was services, but now you're working with a lot of contractors, you're working with a lot of people who are on the field while you're managing and overseeing everything on the back end.
Yes. So I was primarily responsible for making sure we had a great culture, we had the right people on the team, and dealing with all the legal and the back office, that type of stuff. But I had a great team where they were able to go out and really take care of the customer and, fix the air conditioning systems.
Yeah, that building that culture with internal culture is not an easy task. So tell us about how one can balance the need for growth and with the necessity of maintaining a quality team, like you've done in the past with several of your businesses.
I was given one of the best pieces of advice when we first bought the air conditioning company because it was so hard to find highly trained technicians. And I was given the advice that it's better to tell a customer, no, I cannot come out and take care of the service today, because you're just overbooked, and because you don't want to hire the wrong people and then send them out and then give customers a bad experience. Mm-hmm. And so it's better to slow that hiring process down so that way on the front end, you're actually attracting the right people. Because when they have the great attitude, you can teach the skills, right? But it doesn't matter how great the skill is. If they don't have a great attitude, they're not going to last very long on your team anyways. And so just go ahead and look for the great attitude, and then you can implement the training and the growth so that way you can nurture those skills that are needed. And so we did have some great trained technicians, but we also created our own internal program where we would take people right out of high school with no experience and teach them the skills. So that way we were teaching them the way we wanted it done from a quality service. So starting off with great attitude, teach the skill, and that will help you solve quite a bit of problems.
Speaking from an expert, I love that. Let's talk about that's part of how to accelerate a business, right? How to get momentum. That's really good. The human capital is huge, but there's also the need to make revenue. There's also the need to make sales. Okay, so let's talk about balanced business methods, which you have coined and flawlessly designed. Let's talk about how can that help businesses build momentum. What does it mean?
Well, when you think about balancing a business, a lot of times when they hear someone talk about the business finances, they automatically think, "Oh, well, wait, I'm not in it just for the money." Well, your business needs money to continue to move and to grow, and so it's really about having that balanced mindset where, yes, it is important to take care of the customer, but it's also important to do it in a profitable way. So
Mm-hmm.
we want to generate sales, take care of the customer, but then on the back end, we need to take a little bit of time to actually review the reports. Was that sale actually profitable? Because if at the end of the month you think, oh, well, I don't have as much money as I thought I would, you usually type, most business owners think, oh, I just need to sell more. And really, what if those sales that you're already providing, what if they're not profitable? Because every time the service is provided, you've got overtime, and overtime wasn't built into your prices. What if every time you deliver a service, there's this little free kind of like scope, the deliverable has changed, but your employees are not trained in how to recognize it, so they just provide that extra free service. So if what you're doing right now is not profitable, if you sell more, that's not solving the problem, because zero profit times any revenue number is still zero. That's just
Mm-hmm.
basic math. And so when you think about your business being balanced, it's really taking a step back and making sure that when you look at that customer journey, the price that you charge, generating the leads through your marketing, the actual sales process without discounts. That's a big problem. Don't rely on discounts.
Mm-hmm.
Actually delivering the service. And then on the back end, making sure it was profitable and you actually got paid. How many times have services been provided, but you're too busy to actually invoice the customer and actually collect the money? That's where the imbalance happens, because you generated the sale, but you haven't actually collected the money. And so, really, just taking that step back and making sure that you've got all of the systems, all of the people, everything is on board with making sure that the money and the information flows seamlessly throughout your business. So that way, you're not running around very fast with a flat tire. I want you to think about your business as being a well rounded wheel, where as a small business, it might be a small wheel, which is fine, but
Mm-hmm.
there's no flat spot. You want to make sure that it's has that momentum. So that way, as you add in more customers, the wheel will get bigger, your business will grow, but it's in a financially healthy way. And it just kind of considers everything from the price you charge all the way to actually getting paid.
Yeah, so that it's not overwhelming when you are scaling, when you are growing, because that's the ultimate goal is
Mhm.
to go from small business to grow, to hire more people, to provide more of the service, or in a lot of cases, inventory, increase inventory and sell more. So that oil rigged machine that you're talking about is that it's an effort to run it a lot smoother as you grow, as more customers coming through your pipeline, through your traffic. You talk about the traffic flow, marketing. How monumental is that? How instrumental is that in scaling, in growing? Because you're spending money to actually gain more sales and to actually bring more traffic.
Marketing is a very big part of running a business. And a lot of business owners, they'll ask the question, well, how much should I spend? Is it 5% of sales or 10% of sales? And so they think that just because they write the check and they spend the money, that that's all that they've got to do. But you've actually got to take the time to really review, did that marketing campaign actually accomplish your goal? Did it
Mm-hmm.
generate the leads that you needed, that you were able to convert? And
Mm-hmm.
so, it's really about having that balanced business where you are investing money in the right place
Yeah.
and you feel like you're really taking care of those marketing leads. Because if you're generating leads to a phone number that no one answers the phone consistently, or they don't follow up, or the email is going to spam, like, you've got to really check and make sure all of those systems are working, or you're just wasting your marketing dollars. You've got to
Yeah.
circle back and see what's working, If it's not working, why? You've got to act like you're a little 2-year-old asking why 5,000 times until you actually get to that root cause instead of just assuming you need to sell more. It might be you're just not investing right in the marketing, or from an administrative standpoint, there's a failure in the system.
Yeah. So, Tina, you're saying we can't just set it and leave it. We cannot.
I wish you could. That's one of the things that I really wish you could. But unfortunately, when you're running a business, there's just a lot of aspects that are just not copy and paste. Because yes, you probably will figure out a marketing campaign that works. And the way the world is changing so much, it might not work 6 months or 12 months from now. You've got to constantly be experimenting with new ways to attract people to the business. And it also might sound a little bit weird, but when you are starting to tell people that you're overloaded or no, or direct them in a different path because your systems are starting to get a little bit overloaded, that's actually a good thing. It's actually healthy that your business is generating more leads than it can handle, because that's usually a signal. Oh, okay, well, should we offer another service? Do we need to hire another employee? Like, what is that next thing that we can do to start capturing some of the leads? And so don't get too worried if you're generating too many leads, because that's actually a beautiful sign that your systems are actually working for your business.
Yeah. And I want to talk about seasonal business, because yours is a seasonal business, right? CPA, accounting, and all that stuff. And if there's some companies that have seasonal income fluctuations. And I can imagine, just as from what we just spoke about, maybe generating leads during the off season. That way you kind of have a clientele list ready for when you are in season, and you can actually reap the benefits of those marketing aspects. But don't take my word for it. I want to hear from you. How can, some people have the mindset to shift so that they can get a year-round profitability?
One of the best things about when you think about your marketing budget is having a certain percentage of that budget for your existing customers. So when you go into that slow season, that is the perfect time to reach out to your existing customers that already know, like, and trust your business. So that way, maybe your system should be able to show you what service did they buy, what did they not buy. Did you present a proposal to them and they haven't said no, but they haven't said yes either? They're kind of in that in between. So you can use some of those marketing dollars to actually rekindle that conversation and reach back out to your existing customers to see, what do they need? What service can you add? So that way you can, like, really help. One of the best things about your peak season is you have a really high revenue stream.
Yeah.
But when you think about your really low season, instead of really banging your head and trying to force it to be the same as your peak, you just need to accept the fact that there are some cycles. And so your business is winning if during that slow season, you don't dig a hole.
Right.
That's one of the best things. If you can have $1,000 profit on your slowest month where you're not digging a hole, then that's going to be a win, because then you're not taking your first 2 busy season months to dig yourself out. So you're starting out ahead. And so really just starting that mindset with, okay, the first win is, how do I not dig a big hole? And then once you figure those out, then you can start looking for having profitability in those slower months.
How do you not dig yourself in that hole? What are some ways to stay ahead?
Definitely reach out to those existing customers, having multiple marketing campaigns going. Also, look for ways to have natural fits within your business. For example, with the air conditioning company that I owned, we serviced residential customers that had a home, the homeowners, but then we also had about 30% of our revenue came in from commercial buildings. Well, if you go into a furniture store, it doesn't matter what it's like outside. They need their customers to be comfortable. So look for ways to naturally build that into the seasonality of your customer base. So that way you do have a component that naturally needs your services regardless of the time of year. And you also might want to look for services that have a kind of a mirror type of fit where maybe busy season for one service is in the summer, but then another one is in the winter. So that way you've got the same type of back overhead structure that can
Yeah.
support both of those services. And just
Yeah.
really just kind of brainstorm and just really just think outside the box for how can you make it to where you're at least break even in those extremely slow months.
Yeah, diversify if possible is what I'm hearing you say. Maintaining those relationships you currently have with the customers, ensuring that what other services can you offer them? And word of mouth too, right? So asking, yeah, to send out referrals, anyone else that could use these services would, yeah, I think that was one that one's key and free.
Yes, yes, yes. And, just looking for ways to promote your brand, whether, we used to, even though we were an air conditioning company, we would promote at the local UPS store where they would host little lunch and learns and we would talk about how to change your air filter. Look for your chamber of commerce. How can you get out in the community and really help support? Also, keep in mind that during your slow time, that is actually the best time to upgrade your accounting or upgrade your software. Like if you're thinking about going completely digital, that's the perfect time. It's the perfect time to train your employees. So
Yeah.
taking the time to let the business breathe and really equip the team to be ready for the next busy season is also a great mindset as well.
Well said. So let's talk about how you get up, dress up, and show up, Tina. How does your morning routine help you to build multiple businesses and continue to show up every day?
It's really interesting. I've been giving it a lot of thought knowing we were going to record this today. And it's interesting how the routine has been different in different seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm still figuring out what it looks like with this current season, but I love spending time reading every single morning. It's amazing how just allowing the brain to just think about other people's ideas and how can I use it in my day. And then, so definitely reading, getting up and feeling like I've got a home office. And so it's easy to get distracted with all of the other things that are in the home. And so just making it to where, okay, these are my office hours. I want to really do what I can to be focused. If I write it on my to-do list, I really want it to be marked off by the end of the day. And then at the end of the day, the routine is to kind of decompress. Okay, well, what was I able to accomplish? Was it realistic? And then set the plan for the next day and go ahead and set the reminders. And so that way, when I'm done, I can just go focus in on dinner or whatever I've got planned for the evening. And so just really trying to kind of come up with what is that set schedule. It has been really important in this season of business.
Yeah, that is well said. It sounds like the morning routine also starts the night before with you checking in the small wins, the big wins, checking off the things. It's so satisfying checking things off the to-do list. I write it down just to check it off.
Me too.
It's like drink a glass of water, check. Hydrating first thing in the morning, or do CrossFit, go work out. I write it. I know it's in my calendar, it's happening, but I write it anyway because I want to see a green check next to it. I use emoji checks too. So it's for you. It sounds like that is quite satisfying as well, and it does help your brain know to take action. To take inspired action because it loves to win. Your brain loves to win. And so it starts the night before. It sounds like planning for the next day because you don't have to scramble in the morning trying to figure it out because you already thought about it. You already planned it the night before. So it's pretty cool.
And I think our brains, when it kind of knows what's coming the next day, it's like, or I don't know the psychology of it, but it seems like our brains are like processing what could be. And then in the morning, you kind of feel like you are hitting the ground running with, oh, I've got this idea and this idea though. So then you've got to pare down the ideas to one actionable task.
You hit it right on the nail. So Thomas Edison said, never go to sleep without giving the mind something to mull over for you. Okay, so your to-do list, you just kind of summarizing the day and planning for the morning. Your brain is over there solving the problems on your to-do list. And so you wake up refreshed and you're like, people are usually like in the shower, they feel like they get a great idea. It's usually you've been sleeping over it, mulling it over it, and the brain's kind of been giving you head and ideas. And then boom, there's an idea for you. So yeah, it absolutely does work. That's the science behind it. The subconscious mind is always working for you. And so it's back there. So bringing you solutions to your problems. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. I like the notion of reading every day. That helps a lot. A lot of entrepreneurs do that. Reading kind of quiet the mind down. It's a form of meditation within itself.
It is. I tried journaling for years, but I have a hard time with the habit of that every single day. And so reading is definitely the one thing that really just helps me kind of center, get focused. And I like real-time learning. So whatever I'm wanting to accomplish, that's usually what I'm studying. And so back when I was growing the air conditioning company, I focused on leadership and culture, whereas now it's like, okay, marketing and YouTube videos,
Right.
it's like different seasons have different personal development goals.
Yeah, and that's key. And you learn it better. It's applicable. It's applicable right there. And then you see the results. So that does resonate quite a bit. Tell us about where we can find you, connect with you, your handles.
So one of the best places is on my website, panoramicacademy.com/grow. And that's a great page where it's like a get started type of page where I've got free resources and blogs and my courses. Everything is listed there. And then I'm also on LinkedIn and Facebook. I am Tina P. White on both of those.
Fantastic. Now, we love quotes. I know you're a big reader, so you may have one handy. What's one of your favorite that you would like to leave us with?
There's so many. I usually can probably not a definite quote, but one of the definite mindsets when you think about finances, one of my favorite books is The Psychology of Money. And one of the best illustrations that he provides towards the end of the book is he talks about how when we make financial decisions, it's not just the number. So for example, like if you're thinking about paying off the mortgage of your house, some people they run the numbers and they're thinking, oh, well, I can make more money investing in the stock market. So I'm going to keep the mortgage and just, invest. But then for other people, they just really have the dream of paying off their mortgage and having no debt. And so what might be really good for you from a financial standpoint might not make any sense to the person sitting next to you. And that same philosophy happens in business. Not every financial decision that you're going to make is going to make sense to anyone else because you're the only one that has all of the information, all of your goals. You know what resources you have. You know where you want to grow the company. You know whether you're chasing money or freedom of time. You've got all of that. So when you're thinking about your business finances, just make sure that you're not trying to compare yourself to the person next to you because what you're trying to accomplish may seem very foreign to them.
I love that. It makes it it personalizes it because you're right. The goals are different. The needs are different. And so kind of just understanding what is it that you're after, your objective, and go after that. It doesn't have to make sense to others. I like that. Tina, it's been such a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your insight.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
All right, morning enthusiasts, that's it for today's show. Thank you for tuning in. If you love the Best Morning Routine Ever podcast, we'd love to hear from you. So go ahead and subscribe, rate, and give a review on iTunes or Google Play. While you're at it, tell a friend about the show. Be sure to visit bestmorningroutineever.com and our Facebook group to join the conversation, access the show notes, and discover our fantastic free bonus content. Until next time,